morning, dear students. I am Miss NAVEDA SHAIKH from Brahan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika MCGM virtual class. I welcome all my dear students to another and interesting session. In today's session, we'll be learning something new and interesting from a science textbook. So let's get started. Good morning, dear students. I welcome all my dear students to another and interesting session. This is a session conducted by MCGM virtual class, and I am Miss NAVEDA SHAIKH. Today we are teaching standard 9 science, and we are learning the next chapter, that is the second chapter in your science textbooks, that is work and energy. Now this chapter is related to physics. Okay, so let's understand about it in a very interesting manner. Here there are a few images of a girl writing. You can see a boy running. You can see a girl sitting on a laptop and just typing out things or studying. You can see your teacher moving around in the class. Here you can see a man on a treadmill. He is doing exercise. Now in all the pictures that are given to you here on the screen, in which of these pictures has work been done? So the answer will be in all the images here, all the pictures that are there, work is being done. Whether they are moving or whether they are not moving. So in general terms, any mental or physical activity is referred to as work. When we walk or run, the energy in our body is used to do the necessary work. Means whatever food that you eat is converted into energy. We have learned this, right? So this energy helps us to perform various activity. Now apart from our body, even the things which are around us like your washing machine, the fans, etc., they also require energy to perform various things, activity in our day-to-day life. Okay, so energy is a very important thing, and I hope you remember we have learned about energy in our previous standards. So in the previous slide we have seen that some kind of work or not physically done. Like here in this image, this girl is typing, sitting in one place and learning. The boy is also learning or doing some work. He's not doing any physical activities, but he is using his mind in order to study or do certain work. Like right now, you all are also sitting in front of the screen and you all are watching me, but you all are not actually doing physically any work, but your mind is working, right? Because you're processing what I'm talking and you're thinking about it. So such things are nothing but mental work. Boy who is studying is working on or performing work, and they are not doing any physical work, and his in physics this kind of work is not considered any work because there is no movement happening. Okay, so when there is no movement happening, we say that no work is done. Movement means if the body has to move from one place to the other, means you need to apply some force on your body in order to move from one place to the other. That means displacement has to occur in order to perform physical work. So in our last slide, we have seen that when we are sitting and doing any work, we are not putting in any force in order to move from one place to the other. That means there is no displacement which is occurring. Okay. So according to physics, if this man or this man which is trying to push the elephant, or this man who's trying to lift this piece of rock, they are not able to do it. Okay. And they are putting in lots of effort to move them, but they do not find any success in doing that. So what do we say? That in physics we deal with physical work. Okay, we are not talking about mental work. Even if they are putting in so much of effort to do something, or when you're writing, when you're reading, or when you're just sitting and observing or listening to what I'm saying, that time you are not physically working. Okay, you are doing mental work. But in physics, mental work is not considered. They only deal with physical work. So work has a special meaning in physics. So even if they have put in lots of effort, but no work is done, as there is no displacement. Because there is no displacement means the object has not moved from its original place to the final position. Even if they move 1 centimeter or 1 inch, we would say that work is done. To perform work, there needs to be displacement. Okay, people need to apply force on the object, and there needs to be a displacement. So suppose this lady over here, she is trying to pull a box, okay, with the help of a rope. When she is pulling the box, she is applying force on the box, right? And that force is making the box to move, and the movement of the box from one position to the other is called the displacement, right? In our first chapter, laws of motion, we have learned about displacement also. So work is said to be done when a force applied on an object causes displacement of the object. So in simple words, as I told you, when this lady wants to move this box, what does she do is she applies force on an object, okay, which causes displacement of the object, right? Very simple. हम लोग कोई भी काम जब करते हैं तो उसमें हम लोग एनर्जी लगा फोर्स लगाते हैं, ठीक है? When you apply force, things tend to move from its place, and that movement of the object is called as displacement, okay? And finally, with this force and the displacement, you say that work is done. In this picture, you can see that more work is done for the same displacement. Now this girl is trying to pull a box. In first picture, you can see that she is trying to pull an empty box. In the next picture, you can see that there are books in the box. So it requires more effort to pull the box when it is filled with the books, right? अगर हम लोगों के पास कोई एक empty box रहेगा, उसे pull करना easy है. But अगर एक box अगर भरा हुआ है, तो उसे pull करना difficult हो जाता है, right? So more work is done for the same displacement when more force is applied to do the work. ठीक है? अगर हम लोग ज्यादा फोर्स लगाते हैं तो ज्यादा डिस्प्लेसमेंट होगा, ठीक है? If the same force is applied for more displacement, more work is done by the force. अगर हम लोग ज्यादा सेम फोर्स अप्लाई करेंगे ज्यादा डिस्प्लेसमेंट के लिए तो मतलब ज्यादा काम होगा. एज आई टोल्ड यू दैट जब तक कोई चीज मूव नहीं होती अपनी जगह से मतलब वो काम नहीं हुआ है. अगर चीज हल्की है तो कम फोर्स में वो ज्यादा मूव होगी, राइट? तो वहां पर ज्यादा वर्क बताया जाएगा. सो दिस इज व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू एक्सप्लेन. If you are applying some force and the displacement is more, that means you have done more work. And if you are applying more force but the displacement is very less, but that will tell you that the work done is less. तो displacement होना जरूरी है ताकि काम दिखे हम लोगों को, ठीक है? Now the unit of work, let us understand about the SI units and the CGS units. The SI unit or the MKS system, the unit is Newton into meter, which is equal to joule, and CGS is erg, okay? Because force will be written as dyne and meters will be written as centimeters in CGS system. So it gets written as erg in the CGS system. The unit is named after the English physicist James P. Joule. Now here in this picture you can see that this boy is trying to play with a toy car, right? The boy in the picture has applied a force to the toy car. Work has been done because the force applied to the car has caused displacement. जब वो लड़के ने थोड़ा सा force लगाया तो वो car move हुई, मतलब move हुई means displacement हुआ means work was done. In other words, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफ द बॉयज एनर्जी, लड़के की जो बॉडी की एनर्जी थी वो जब ट्रांसफॉर्म हुई फ्रॉम द बॉडी टूवर्ड्स द कार, हम लोग ने बोले द वर्क हैज बीन टेकन प्लेस थ्रू द अप्लाइड फोर्स. सो दिस इज व्हाट इज द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन वर्क एंड एनर्जी. मीन्स यू नीड एनर्जी टू परफॉर्म वर्क. जब तक हमारी बॉडी की या कोई भी तरीके की एनर्जी हम लोग यूटिलाइज नहीं करेंगे तो वर्क या डिस्प्लेसमेंट नहीं होगा, तो वर्क भी नहीं होगा. सो इन ऑर्डर टू कॉज डिस्प्लेसमेंट यू नीड एनर्जी. सो देयर इज अ रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द टू. आई होप दिस इज क्लियर नाउ. Now you must be having plants at home, or if you don't have, but you must have seen people planting their trees or pots, and if you notice, they keep it in the sun. Okay, normally outside in a place where they get plenty of sunlight. Now, if you put this pot for a longer period of time in a dark region, what will happen? The plant will tend to die. Okay, the plant languishes. Why does this happen? Because the plant gets energy from the sun. We have learned in our previous classes that plant require sunlight for preparing their food, and food is very essential for all living things, right? And if they're not getting food, they will die. And similar to that, If the plant is kept in a dark region or in a area where it does not get sunlight, it won't get energy to prepare the food, and because of that, they will die. Now here, if you hear loud music being played, okay, if there is too much of loud sound in your house or nearby, if there is a DJ being played, you will notice that the vessels in the house starts to vibrate. Now, this is because of an energy which is being produced because of the music which is very loud, right? Here, if you place a magnifying glass in sun over a paper, you will notice that the paper tends to burn. Okay. Now, collecting sunlight on a paper with the help of a convex lens burns the paper. Now, all this thing that we learned with the three examples, we were talking about energy. Now, in this example also, the solar energy is concentrated onto the particular point of the paper where that energy gets converted into heat energy, and you can see that it starts to burn. All right. So, what is energy? What is energy? Now, in your previous classes also you have learned about energy, but today we'll be learning about in detail in this chapter. So, we have already learned about work in our previous class. We have learned that in order to perform work, a person needs energy, right? So, if I want to do work, there is energy already present. If I'm doing some work, that means I have energy, and that is the reason work is being done. So, in these examples, if you notice, the person who is performing work has energy and it is closely related to that. Okay, so we already have learned that energy and work are they go hand in hand. Okay, so here we can define that the energy of a body is the capacity of the body to do work. Okay, so an object having a capability to do work is said to possess energy. How can we define it? We can define it as the capacity of a body to perform work is called its energy. Means if this lady is able to work on a laptop or it's able to write something, that means she already has energy. Okay. The capacity of a body to perform work is called its energy. Okay. जो हमारे अंदर ताकत होती है जिससे हम लोग काम कर सकते हैं उसे एनर्जी कहते हैं. So, what is energy? The word energy comes from the Greek word energos, which means active. So, energy is the ability to cause change. As I told you, जब हम लोग ने पढ़े थे वो boy का example when he was trying to pull the car or push the car, what was he doing? He was applying energy. Means he was trying to cause change in the object or the toy that he was playing. तो वो हमारे अपनी बॉडी के अंदर जो एनर्जी होती है वो अप्लाई करने से काम होता है. ठीक है. सो आई होप द वर्ड एनर्जी कहाँ से डिराइव हुआ है और उसका मतलब क्या है समझ में आ गया सबको. एनर्जी मीन्स यू नीड टू बी एक्टिव. व्हेन यू आर एक्टिव यू आर एबल टू डू वर्क. ठीक है. सो द एनर्जी मीन्स इट इज द एबिलिटी टू कॉज चेंज. Let us see a few examples of energy. Energy can change the temperature of water. Means if I have heat energy, as I told you, energy is of various types. अगर heat energy है हमारे गैस पे अगर हम लोग पानी रखते हैं तो heat है. Heat energy की वजह से पानी क्या होता है बॉईल होने लगता है. So there is a change in temperature of the water. Energy can change the direction and speed of the baseball. अगर if you are playing baseball or if you are playing cricket, what happens is the ball is coming in towards the batsman. ठीक है. When the batsman hits the ball means he's applying energy towards the ball. So ball starts to move in a different direction. So that is also an example of energy. So energy can cause change also in the direction and speed of an object. The energy in the thunderstorm. Thunderstorm means जब बिजली कड़कती है, it produces lightning that lightens up the skies and thunder that rattles the windows.
So you must have noticed जब बिजली बहुत तेज चमकती है या कड़कती है, that time there is a huge amount of sound also which can cause rattling of the windows. हमारे घर की खिड़कियां भी हिलती है वो आवाज से. And lightning in the sky means जो light आती है sky में, that is also a form of energy. So I hope these examples makes it clear about what is the capability of energy, different types of energy to do. It can change the temperature, it can change the speed, it can change the direction. All right, let us understand the forms of energy. Energy comes in different forms from many sources. Food provides energy in the form of chemical energy. The food that you eat, when it goes into your body, it gives you energy. Now that is a form of chemical energy that you're taking in. Your body converts the chemical energy in the food you eat into the energy it needs to move. Okay, so if you're wanting to do some work, if you need to do some activity, the food that you've eaten gets converted and gives you energy to in order to perform certain work that you do throughout the day.
Now, your energy is very important in our day-to-day life, and you perform so many activities related to that, right? You must have seen trucks being loaded and unloaded. Your mother, or you must have needed the dough in the house, or when going to a petrol pump, you must have seen the fuel being filled into the tanks. And apart from that, we've also learned about the process of photosynthesis. Now, everything, even the plants, are also performing work because of the energy which is being produced. So, object which does the work loses energy, and the object on which the work is done gains energy. Means if I am kneading the dough, I am losing energy, and the dough is gaining the energy. An object that possesses energy can exert a force on another object. When this happens, energy is transferred from the former to the later. Means if the leaf is preparing the food, okay, so it is losing energy, but they are preparing the food, and which that is going to the different parts of the body, okay, of the plant. So nothing is being lost over here. Somebody is transferring the energy into other type. Okay, so energy is transferred from the first person to the later person. Like in the car, if the fuel is filled into the car, then only the car will move. So fuel is a form of energy, and which is going into the car, which is helping the car to move, that is mechanical energy. The energy possessed by an object is measured in terms of its capacity of doing work. How much capacity does it has to do work? The unit of energy is similar to that of work. Why? Because work and energy, as I already told you, they go hand in hand. Okay, अगर एनर्जी होगी तो ही वर्क होगा, और अगर वर्क हुआ है मतलब एनर्जी थी तो वर्क हुआ है ना. So it is, the unit is joule. So 1 joule is the energy required to do 1 joule of work. Now the types of energy. Previously also you have learned about various types of energy like mechanical energy, thermal energy, nuclear energy, chemical energy, electromagnetic energy. Now electromagnetic energy are the ones which we make use of in our microwaves and fridge. Okay, sonic energy, the sound energy that we make use of, gravitational energy, that is reason because we are standing or sitting on the ground. Kinetic energy means any moving object possesses kinetic energy. Potential energy means any object which is at still and not moving, okay, that possesses potential energy. Mechanical energy, you have seen so many examples like moving vehicles perform possesses mechanical energy. Okay, so there are various forms of energy available to us. For example, mechanical energy, potential energy, kinetic energy, heat energy, chemical energy, etc. Okay, so but today in this chapter we will be emphasizing more on the mechanical energy part, which is further divided into two parts: potential energy and kinetic. So the two types of energy that we are going to learn today is kinetic energy and potential energy. Kinetic energy comprises of light, mechanical energy, sound wave, thermal energy, electric energy. Okay, potential energy comprises of nuclear energy, chemical energy, gravitational force, and magnetic energy. Now, if you notice the difference, mechanical energy and the chemical energy are very different from each other. Mechanical means it will keep on moving. So, kinetic energy is related to movement. Okay, and potential energy means stored energy in any object. Let's understand step by step. The first example here I have is a cricketer hitting a ball, but the ball hits the stump instead of the bat. And what happens to the stump is the stump is at rest, but because the ball has hit the stump, it tends to move from its place. Okay. Now another example here, this lady is trying to hit this with the help of the hammer. Okay, so it reaches the bell. What does it have? What is happening here? The object was stationary, means it was not moving, but because of the external force this lady has exerted on it, it tends to move. So when a moving object strikes a stationary object, the stationary object moves. Here also you must have played marbles. Now in marbles what do you do is you place marbles onto the ground and then the marbles are still, they do not move. Still matlab stationary means still. Okay, they do not move. So they are stationary. But you move it with one of the marble that you have in your hand and you try to move the remaining marbles. Okay, so that is also a type of energy that you're using in order to move the stationary objects. Another example here is a कैरम बोर्ड. Okay, कैरम बोर्ड में भी हम लोग के पास जो coins होते हैं, what do they do is they are still, they do not move. Okay, we make use of the striker and we move the coins that are there. Okay, so here also we are applying force, we are applying energy, and which helps the coins to move. So from the examples, we understand that when a moving object strikes a stationary object, the stationary object moves. Thus the moving object has some energy, right? वो energy है उसके पास तभी वो move हो रहा है. Part of all of which it shares with the stationary object, thereby setting it in motion. This energy that we're talking about, which sets the stationary object in motion, that type of energy is called as kinetic energy. Okay, the energy which an object has because of its motion is called its kinetic energy. The work done by a force to displace the stationary object through a distance s is the kinetic energy gained by the object. So kinetic energy is equal to work done by on the object. Kinetic energy is written as F into S. Okay. So I hope this kinetic energy is clear to you all. In the chalo, let's move on to the next example that we have. Here if you see a spring being compressed with both the hands. Okay. Once you let it loose, it will go back to its own position and it will exert a force onto your hand. Okay. So what are we doing is here, we are compressing the ring that is there. On the other example, we have an bow and an arrow. Okay. This arrow is being pulled behind and it is kept for a few seconds and then it is let to move. Okay, when it flies, the arrow, when it moves with a very high speed. Now, how does it get that speed to move? That is because when we pulled the arrow back, we had stored a particular amount of energy in that. Okay, that energy helped the arrow to fly with such a high speed. Similarly, when you go to the gym, what do is you do this exercise where you have rubber-like material being used, which you pull and then let it go. Now that also is a kind of energy that is being used. Now that energy is called as the potential energy. Potential energy is the energy stored in the body. Okay, as I told you, it is stored in the body when you are pulling anything back, okay, or holding something. That substance has got what? It has got potential energy in it. Okay, so if this girl is holding this ball in her hand, that means she is possessing, that ball possesses potential energy, because it is against the gravitational force, right? It is not on the floor, it is on her in her hand. So there is a force which is acting on the ball also, even though it is not moving. So potential energy is the energy which is stored in the body or a system by virtue of its motion in field of force or by its configuration. Okay. Potential energy is denoted by the letter U. Force acting on a body or system can change its potential energy. All body fall towards the earth with a constant acceleration known as acceleration due to. Now here a few more example: elastic potential energy. Then you have gravitational potential energy, chemical potential energy. Means when you eat something that is chemical, right? It gets stored in your body and it will be later used for doing certain work. Okay, so you're storing that energy in your body. So anything which is stored energy is called as potential energy. The energy stored in an object because of its specific state or position is called its potential energy. Okay, simple. Here in this picture, you can see potential energy. That means with the help of a pulley, an object is being raised up. Okay, when it is raised up, the object has got potential energy. Why we are saying potential energy है उसके पास? Because it is going against the gravitational force. ठीक है, भले ही थोड़ा ऊपर हुआ है but gravitational force के against है. ठीक है, so it has got a particular amount of energy stored, that is the potential energy. Now when you let the rope, what will happen is this weight that you had will fall onto the ground. Okay, so this falling of the object is kinetic, is because of the kinetic energy. Okay, the potential energy converts it into kinetic energy, and that is the reason the object falls freely. Here also, if you ride a bicycle onto a hilltop or onto a surface like this, you will notice that when you go onto the top, your cycle holds the position for a few seconds and then you move down. So this moving down and going up is kinetic energy, and when you halt at the top, it is the potential energy.
Right. All right. So I hope with this chapter is quite clear to you. We have not completed the chapter. We have just completed a part of it. So please see to it that if you have any doubts and queries, you can go through the video once again. And if you still need certain clarity on certain terms, you can ask us in the comment section. Till then, thank you. If you like the session, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel so that you can share and
This session was quite useful to you. In the next coming period, we'll learn something new and interesting. Till then, thank you.